Oh my gosh. Okay, we're online.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to ask everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance when we start the meeting, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If anybody would like to do an invocation, please say so. If not,
We just have maybe a moment of silence. The tribute yesterday was 9/11 for all those people who passed away and for the first responders.
all right. Thank you, Jerry. Start with a roll call. Brenda is not here. Jerry Harris? Here. Robert Rodriguez here. Alan Smith?
Yes.
Phil Starr? Here. And Steve Rhodes? Here. I'm going to take care of our first order of business, which would be approval of the August 8, 2018 meetings, and then I'm going to deviate off the agenda a bit. I'll get to that when we get there. So if everybody's had a chance to look over the meeting minutes from August 8th, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, that passes, thank you very much. And usually right now we do the financial report, but due to the fact that we have a special visitor for the cameras around the station, we're gonna go ahead and step right into that. Steve, if you want to introduce him, we'll...
Okay. This is Dave Gilding. I know him because he's the president of local Grange, but he's been willing, we're trying to apply for a safety and security grant for the station through our insurance company, and he agreed to come out, give us a little demonstration on the security cameras and stuff that they have available, and gave me an estimate that I could use to as a basis for submitting the grant. So,
Okay, did you, gentlemen, want to take a look at it? Unfortunately, I wish your TV had better resolution on it.
Steve's
so
fault.
you can show it on his phone, though. It's really
So the camera system that we're proposing can have multiple cameras, as you can see. What you're seeing is a live image off of this camera. These are the cameras at our office. When I'm looking at it on my phone or on a laptop, I can pick any image to make it larger. As you can tell with the cloud cover we have, even with that, you still have essentially a color picture. After it goes dark, all the cameras, no matter who makes them, it goes black and white. So it depends on where you put them, what you want to see. This is live. You can see right there. The car is going through that one just a second ago. If I wait long enough, we'll see another car. This watches our back parking lot, and the airport is right here. The train tracks are right here, and the airport's right here. That's the runway for the airport. So I'll give you an idea. I remember a while back there was a train that caught fire coming through town. Our video picked it up right here. The train was on the tracks right here, and this camera is the one that picked it up when it caught fire. We actually have the video of it exploding and catching fire. So,
And you can zoom?
yes. If you have it on your phone, you can zoom. And when you're doing it like I'm doing on my laptop, that feature is not available. But on your phone, you can zoom. But it only zooms. It doesn't have what they call pan-tilt zoom. Okay, pan-tilt zoom is you can control the camera and do whatever you want. You can move it up, you can move it down, zoom it in, zoom it out. That is a completely different animal as far as the camera is concerned. These cameras are fixed cameras. They have a very focal lens on them, but they are a fixed camera for what you see. There's no control in them.
And how close does it zoom? Could you tell the middle one? Could you tell the license plate number on that van?
This one here?
If you're on a phone? Yeah. Well, you can see it there, so obviously
You can see it there. So if you can zoom in on it, yeah, you can see what it is.
So you're zooming just with your camera, your phone.
On the phone, you can zoom because your phone has a touchscreen. I don't have a touchscreen on my laptop, so that's why I can't zoom it. But if you're looking at it on your phone, yes, you can.
But you're not zooming the camera.
No, you're just increasing the size of the picture of what you're doing on your phone.
Can you show them the interior shots with the
Sure.
lights and stuff too?
So this is our, take a look here, I believe this is our front office. So right now you see that's what it looks like. There aren't any lights on, that's just picking up on the ambient light from outside of what it looks like.
And Dave, that's infrared, right? Or
Yes, and then I can show you also our warehouse. Let me give you the first warehouse picture, which is here. Now there are no lights in that warehouse. This is the infrared illuminator that's on the camera itself, that's illuminating the area. And we have one camera in the corner you're seeing now. We have another camera in the opposite corner that's watching the other direction. What you're seeing is the reflection off of the infrared illuminator off of different components. We have a metal rack right there, and that infrared illuminator is reflecting off of that. So even when it's dark, the infrared illuminator will reach out there a ways for you and illuminate things. If there is any ambient light, this is our other office. You can see the ambient light coming from the window. Still gives you a pretty decent picture. So if you have lights out in your parking lot, you have lights along the backside of your building, you'll still get a fairly decent picture from that ambient light that's out there. If you look at the package that I gave you, you're going to find not only numbers and everything else, but you're going to find the layout of what we're recommending for the cameras. It gives you a visual representation of where the camera is basically going to see. This is an aerial view of your building here. This is your main parking lot. So you have two cameras that are going to essentially watch and overlap each other in the parking lot to pick up this area. We have another camera on the side of the building to watch the side here of the building, and then two cameras across the back to watch the rear of the building. Your pink on your display, your cameras in pink are interior ones inside the building, not on the exterior of the building.
So this one won't reach to here, but if my memory serves me right, we have a window back there too.
We don't have a window on the far.
On the back wall, but we have another one on this wall.
Yeah, on this wall,
Okay,
that's
okay.
why
No, I
we're
get
looking
that.
at getting
Yeah.
some. Now, they put two, so it's a smaller, a better coverage.
Yeah, but if they come through the window, we still have cameras right then, and then we have all this is covered, which is what we need in case they come into the building.
Or it has a man door that's welded shut. It was welded shut years ago, so it's a solid.
So this is just this is just a layout. The owner of the company was able to meet with Steve a while back. Steve gave him kind of his wish list. We can always move these cameras around depending on what you're looking to do, but this is a general basic layout. With the amount of money that Steve mentioned to us that was available, we came up with, if I believe I do the count right, we came up with 8 cameras on there for you for that price. Which means essentially what we've done is we reduced the price of the cameras for you to get you the number of cameras you need and to cover your area. So the owner was willing to bring the price down to help you guys out and still be within your budget. Now, if you look, with the $7,000 you had, there's still some money left over, and that is available if you decide you'd like to do the optional maintenance program on the system. So that's
What's optional maintenance cost?
optional maintenance would be $40 a month. And what that covers is so what happens is everything we put in comes with a 90-day warranty, completely across the board. After the 90-day warranty, you still have roughly a year and 9 months warranty on the camera itself, but that doesn't include labor. So after that 3 months, say 6 months into it, something goes wrong with the camera, we'll come out, we'll take it down, we'll ship it back. You have to wait until we get it back in the factory, we'll come out and put it back up, but we're in charge of the labor to do that. The maintenance program, the $40 a month, covers all of that. If something goes wrong, it covers advanced replacement on the camera. We come out and we put a new one up so you're not down any length of time. It covers the labor on it. It also, we come out once a year and check your system completely, and if there's any software upgrades or any updates to the camera or to the system itself, we load those updates and upgrades. We check the system to make sure it's still functioning properly, all for that price.
So let's say we opt out of the monthly contract,
Okay?
and we have a camera that goes down. What's the average cost for you to come out and do that?
We'll say you call someone who cares.
No.
No. I'm just giving you a hard time. No. Our labor rates right now are $95 an hour.
Okay.
So for us to come out and take care of it, if you're not on the maintenance program and it's out of warranty, it's going to be $95 for us to come out, take the camera down, send it back, whatever it's going to cost to get it repaired.
So by the time
bring it
you
back.
come out and you get it back and you put it back, we're probably into you 4 hours.
You're probably into $350 to $400 and whatever
So
it cost of the
Yeah,
cameras.
so you'd be better off staying in the maintenance program.
And we were looking at in the future of just, we could include that in our facility budget every year, the maintenance program, if we chose to go that way or not.
Now, in the spirit of trying to keep the cost down for you guys, we also lowered that. The maintenance program for this particular system would normally be about $65 a month. So we dropped it down to 40 for you. So to try to help you out with your budgets, and the fact that you guys are a service, your community service, your fire department, we do the same thing for churches too. We try to help them out with their budgets, so.
And then, obviously they're waterproof.
Yes, they're a dome camera, and then the ones that are outside are designed to go into the wet locations.
How do you mount those, on poles or inside the building?
Just throw a chain up there.
Yeah.
They do come with a mounting bracket that is attached to the building. That's where the cable runs through that bracket and into the camera. It offsets off of the building about foot and a half. And the bracket's flat against the building as an arm comes out and the camera hangs underneath this way. We use the dome cameras primarily because of the fact that with the rain, it helps with the rain. It also helps with the bugs. There really aren't any sharp edges on there that spiders like to build things on.
How high do you normally hang it?
On this building, we'd be just off of the roof, about probably 2-3 feet down from the roof. So it's high enough someone can just walk up to it and play with it. You have to have a ladder to get to it. The whole system is hardwired. Now, you can look at this, we can set the system up so it can send you alerts to anybody's phone on each individual camera and each individual view that you see on the views of the camera. We can come in here, and if you're looking at a parking lot like this one, we can come in here, we can say, okay, if anything moves from this point to this point, we want that to send an alert. Anything moving over here, we don't care. Or if we can pick a target like this air conditioning unit, we can draw a circle around that unit and say if anything goes within that circle, it's going to send you an alert, but it won't send an alert for anything out here. We can also have the ability that if you have a driveway, we can draw, if that particular doesn't work for you, we can actually draw what they call an invisible line across the picture. And when we draw that invisible line, then we program it and tell that anything that crosses that line will then send an alert. So depending on what the view is, depending on where the line goes, there's a number of ways we can set it up. The alerts can go out. You can also set it up with schedules so that the alerts won't go out until, say, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. But from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., the alerts won't go out, and they can be set up on a schedule.
How many phones? Is there a limit?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. I know that we can push you out to at least 2. I'm not sure, because I know we can push to an email and we can push to a phone. I don't, I'd have to ask my IT guy to know how many phones we can put on it. I don't know if they ever found the limit. I know that we have customers that have multiple output messages.
I wonder if we could do a text.
Yes,
Oh.
we can do a text.
And then I have a question, 8 megapixel to 5?
Right, it's the 8 megapixel is a larger width camera than a
Okay.
5 megapixel.
I get it.
And it also gives you a little more definition in the image than a 5 megapixel does. Most of the outside cameras will be 8 megapixel, the inside cameras will be a 5. Because 8 megapixel on the inside, unless you're inside a warehouse like Costco, is pretty much your overkill at that point. So that's the difference in the pictures. So this is the proposal that we put together. The cut sheets showing the different cameras, showing the NVR to the recorder. The recorder will tie into your internet service, either via Ethernet or via Wi-Fi, either one, so that you can remotely access it from your phone.
Is there a battery backup in case power goes out?
No, not on the system. That would be something that you would have to provide.
And
No.
so if, well, let's say that we do have a battery backup and it's plugged into the modem for here, is that what you call it?
It's NVR.
Okay, so it's plugged into there, it'll still supply power to the light, to the cameras?
Yes.
Because it all feeds from there?
Well, whatever power source that you're gonna have the backup on, we'll make sure the cameras and everything are part of that backup
Okay.
source.
Okay.
Yeah, the cameras are individually powered, and so is the NVR.
Off the unit.
Yeah.
Correct, okay. Okay.
Now, for this size of a system, if you, depending on how long you want a battery backup, you're gonna get into a fairly large, fairly expensive unit if you wanted to have 12 to 24 hours of backup. You're talking a fairly good sized UPS system.
Okay. Because they draw a lot better.
Yeah, because it's just, well, you're converting from DC to AC to keep things running. And that conversion eats a lot of amperage to do it. Now I'll pass my phone around, hopefully the picture will continue to stay up for you, but this is what it looks like on a phone, and if your phone has a touch screen, you can bring it in and zoom in this way type of a situation.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, that's a little better quality image what you have on your TV.
I was wondering if you could pull in that, it's still blurry.
Now, if you decide that you'd like to have a camera that has what they call PTZ or pan tilt zoom, if you have that feature on the camera, you can control it from your phone. You can zoom it, you can move it, you can do it from your phone.
So you have to buy something different?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, that's all part of the app that goes along to go on the phone.
One of the things I learned with cameras, one of the things I learned with cameras,
You see it, Jerry?
I saw that.
one of the things I learned with cameras is you can take a picture of it far away and then the camera will do the rest.
I saw
So you don't just go live. You take a picture of it at a distance, then you
Play
can
the
pull it
screen.
in and it's that much clearer.
Just 2 fingers.
Yeah, I'll just.
Yeah. Yeah, just 2 fingers, you can zoom it up and zoom it out.
So this is what I needed to go to for the grant, and then, and we've been successful the last 2 times of putting forward. It's not a slam dunk thing, but they're pretty reasonable, and plus it's a benefit to them because we're preventing our loss.
Correct.
Now, let me also mention that the image that you're seeing, well, your TV set, I'm sorry, it doesn't have your picture, but the image you're seeing on my laptop or on the phone is a reduced quality image for one reason only, and that is transmission. It has to reduce the image quality in order to be able to transmit via Wi-Fi and get it onto this phone. So what you're seeing here, we know it's a nice clear picture. When you are looking at your actual NVR picture, reviewing it and looking at the camera, it's going to be crystal clear. It's not going to have this type of an image in it. They, like I said, in order to transmit this via Wi-Fi, you have to bring the bandwidth down in order for it to fit onto your phone. So even though this, like I said, is not a bad picture at all, it still is a reduced quality image.
What's the life expectancy of the unit?
Just past warranty. No.
30 feet, 30 seconds, whatever it
No,
was.
we use it's called Hike Vision. It's the company. They are one of the largest manufacturers of cameras in the world, commercial cameras. We have them out there that are going on 7 years now, and they're still functional, still working. So we try to use professional equipment, good equipment, stuff that's going to last, because it's our reputation out there too. We don't want people going, oh, we bought a camera from them and a year later it was gone. No, we don't want that kind of reputation. So we use professional equipment.
The maintenance agreement cover the unit too?
The NVR?
Yeah.
Yes, it covers all the components. The maintenance agreement covers the entire system.
Dave? So I know with home systems, the cameras can go bad maybe in a couple of years or something like that. And the resolution and the recording and everything else probably isn't as good. What do you know of what other providers in the area, what kinds of systems they have in comparison to what you have to offer and why yours is better?
I really haven't seen anything from any competitors per se that equals what we're doing. I see a lot of competitors that will go in, no offense, someone buys a system from Costco, they'll call up all wired up and have the guy put it in for them, type of a situation. Sometimes they use Samsung, sometimes they use Panasonic cameras. As long as they're professionally made cameras, they're all pretty good. Hike Vision just happens to be one of the largest manufacturers in the world of professional camera systems.
Okay, now that's the difference. You're saying professional versus home.
Yeah, the stuff you get at online, the stuff you get at a retail store is going to be for the homeowner, it's going to be for the average person. One of the things you have is you have a camera that will have a fixed lens. There's no varifocal. You cannot adjust it in any way, shape, or form. What you get is what you get when you put the picture up, and that's it. You have a plug and play, which means that you plug it in here, you plug it in there, and you're good to go. The thing works as long as everything's okay. Ours are wired with Cat6 cabling, which is your high-speed internet cabling, audio on it, and record the audio. So we use professional grade equipment, professional grade wiring. The NVR can have anywhere from a 2 to a 12 terabyte hard drive for recording, depends on how long you want to store it. So that's the difference. This is kind of one of those you get what you pay for situations.
And can the recorder be set to start over after a certain amount of time? Let's say every 2 weeks, or not by schedule, just when it fills up?
When it fills up, it starts to overwrite the oldest image. Automatically overwrites the oldest image and starts recording.
So it's just when it fills, not on a schedule?
Correct.
So record at all times?
Yes. It records these images, like this image right here, it's gonna record that image. You got the live image, you got a car going by, you can see that you actually have a live image. But it records that at a reduced frame rate. So it saves on the hard drive.
So let me ask you this, can it be motion activated?
Yes.
So you can't, so then it only records when it's got some kind of motion.
It will record this image at all times. Then when we set up an area that you want motion activation for alerts or anything else, then once something moves within that area, now it goes into real-time recording.
Okay.
Instead of the reduced frame recording, it goes to real-time recording for a certain number of minutes, and that's programmable. And then when you go back, if you want to view it, or if you need to put it onto a thumb drive to give it to the authorities, then it will give you 30 seconds prior to the event. Then it gives you the event, and 30 seconds after the event.
Okay.
And so when
That area that you have circled, that's like, as you say, the air conditioning unit.
right,
You could circle that and it would record that and also send an alert to Steve or
we
something.
can have it set up so that anything that moves within that circle will cause the unit to record in real time for the length of time we've told it. It will also, if anything that moves within that circle is set up to send an alert, it will send an alert.
So if somebody's in there for, let's say you program it for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're in there for over a minute, will it continue to record
Yes.
and override it?
It'll just refresh itself. When it refreshes at the end of the minute, it's going to say, "Oh, there's still motion." Bang! It gives right back out again. As long as there's motion within that area, it will record real time.
Okay.
So how do we deal with when we have people legitimately coming here and they're crossing a boundary area? Like if they're responding to a dispatch or something like that. So they're legitimately coming into the doors or the bays or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at other times, that's when we really want the alert, when they're not on a call. How, is there a way to get it to differentiate?
No, because you're going to set it up for either motion or crossing a particular area on the image, and whatever. And the only thing that you can do is set up a schedule so that if it's a daytime activity, you're in and out of here all day long. It's not going to do any recording from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But at nighttime, it's going to record. It's just if you're on a call, you're just going to have those images recorded in real time when you're taking the trucks
But
out.
they're gonna keep getting alerts, you said, as long as they're
Yeah,
moving.
if
So
it's
is there a
setting
way
an
to somehow cancel the alerts when they're coming in on a call?
Don't answer your phone.
Well, once you
But they're
find
gonna keep getting the alerts,
I
you said.
don't.
But we usually get a I mean, I don't know, do you get the text messages, Jerry?
Yes.
So we'll know that they're coming in.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
we get
Right,
a
but
text-
they're gonna, their phone, whoever gets the phone
I don't-
alerts is gonna keep
so-
getting alerts
So
every,
what you're
when it
asking is,
refreshes.
is there a threshold? I don't know if there's a threshold for number of alerts before it stops. I can check with my IT guys to find out. Those
Yeah,
guys do
if there's a
program.
way to cancel the alerts, that would be
Man, can
really
you shut it
helpful.
off or something?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to remotely turn off the alerts or not.
or
So,
let's say you get an alert, let's say the air conditioning,
Mhm.
get an alert there and they're still in there working around on it, would it still continue to give it an alert, or it just calls it, I got the alert and that's the way it is?
I'll need to find out if there's a threshold on the number of alerts for each event, is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but also is there a way, like through their cell phone, to send a signal to the system to cancel that boundary alert?
I'll find out, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of that being done, so I'm not sure that's a feature that's available. But I think I think there's a way we can put a threshold on number of alerts within a certain period of time. So we could set the threshold for 2 alerts, then after that, it's not gonna send any more alerts for a certain period of time before it starts sending them out again.
The only way you could probably bypass an alert would be to shut it off. Because let's, for example, right now we have a meeting, so they would be getting these alerts.
Well, like there was a camera in here,
Correct.
but people coming and going, you're gonna get the one alert.
Okay.
We can set up in a schedule. There may be a way to turn off that schedule on the NVR.
Does it hurt the unit if you manually shut it off? Because on Thursday nights they have meetings. They have training.
I don't see any reason why it would.
Okay.
It's just you're gonna have a real blank spot in your hard drive for
turn it
when
back
things
on,
are running.
too.
Yeah.
But,
Then when you turn it back on, you may have to reset the time and date on it.
okay, but the question is, you said we can set up these boundaries for
Correct.
the alerts. So how do we disable that boundary? Is that easy to do? Where they're coming in on a call, or we're having our board meeting, or they're having their volunteer training to be able to
I'll
disable?
find out. I'm not sure if there's a way to disable it. I'm not sure if there's a way to disable it remotely. I'll need to find that out for you.
Okay.
So like for you guys during the day, you just set it by time then?
Ours is on a schedule.
Yeah, so as soon as you leave at night, then it's.
Well, actually, ours doesn't, because our crews come and go on a pretty interesting schedule. So we have it set up so that our alerts don't start until after 1 a.m. in the morning. Most of our crews should be back by 1 a.m., shouldn't be any more activity, so between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. is when we get alerts.
It records all day long, but your alerts come on at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if
That's how we
something
do it.
happened, you'd still have it on recording then?
Right. And you also can set up on a schedule that if you don't want alerts on Thursdays, you just turn off the alerts on Thursdays in the schedule.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a meeting every single Thursday night, you just turn the alerts off for that day.
Okay.
And so on that schedule, it comes across and goes, oh, Thursday, we're not gonna send any alerts out, thanks.
Thursday at 6, we just go
Yeah.
to break.
There's a number of programming features to it that can be done. Each customer has their own specific thing they want done. So the manufacturer, as you know, any manufacturer has to try to give you as many scenarios as possible and also keep the cost of the unit down where it's reasonable. So the more things you want to do to it, the more hard drive space it needs, and the more infrastructure it needs, and so the more it's going to cost. So no, I see your point for when they're on call, but
You can only do what you do.
quite honestly, I think being on the call is more important than turning off the VCR. That, to me.
But it can be disruptive if their phone keeps getting alerts.
Yeah, so I'll find out about that.
All right.
I know we can
It
just
would get
schedule.
annoying.
Yeah. Well, that's one way to wake up Steve and let him know everybody's doing their job.
But a lot of our stuff comes over to phone 2 now, our dispatches and stuff, so it'd be interruptive, it would be, but if we could work something out.
Well, if it's a text messages versus, are you getting text or are you getting phone calls? Yeah, so your text message will just, that's routed by your cell tower.
Yeah.
So however many you got backed up and I don't know if you know or not, but cell towers, the cellular companies don't tell you this, but text messages are the lowest end on their bandwidth priority. So there are times when you can send someone a text and go, did you get it? And they'll say no. And then 10 minutes later you get it, that's because the cell tower was so flooded. Text messages are the low end on their priority, trust me.
Now, another question you have listed here, a router. So it has its own router that would get connected?
That connects into your internet, correct?
To our internet.
Yeah.
So it's separate from the other
Yes,
system?
we found that when we're putting these systems together, we found that it's just more, it's a better connection and it's more steady for us to use our router and put it in instead of trying to reconfigure the customer's router. We know these routers work, we know they work well, we know they're reliable, we just put our router in, connect our stuff to it, and we're good to go. And so that way we know it's gonna function. Because we went down that road and we'd go into someone's house or we'd go into someone's business and try to get to a router and try to reconfigure it. And then we're getting constant phone calls, well, my printer doesn't work anymore, well, this doesn't work. You know, when we reconfigured it for your camera system, guess what, something else went away, so we just go, no, we use our own router, we're done. And it takes care of the problem. So.
Any more questions? All right, We appreciate you coming down here.
Thanks, Dave.
No, not a
Definitely
problem.
something we're gonna go towards. We
Yeah.
just gotta obviously make the decision on which route we're going.
Well, yeah, and we tried, again, we tried to help by giving you the number of cameras within your budget. And so we were able to increase that a lot more than what Steve had originally asked for.
Yeah, I see that. I
And
think we
so-
talked about 3 at first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we tried to help out that way. And if any of you want to come down to our office to take a look at the actual cameras or see the NVR or talk to our IT guys, feel free. We're located at 2141 Airport Road is where we're located, number 13. And if you have questions, technical questions for the IT guys, come on down, sit in the shop and talk with them and see what they come up with for you. They're actually the people that we have, for the installation, we will have a cabling crew that will be here to pull all the cables and do the physical installation, and then the IT guys come in and do the fine tuning, the setup. One of you will have to be here to say, yes, that's the image I want on the camera, we're gonna move it around and do what you want, lock it in where you want it, talk about where you want the alerts to happen on that camera or that image, they'll get it all dialed in for you. It isn't set in stone. 3 months later, if something changes, you give us a call, we'll come out and go, okay, we can redial this for you. Yeah, so it isn't something, once you're done, that's it, type of a thing. Now, if you call every other week and ask us to come out and change it, well, then that might be a different story.
The cameras are hardwired, right?
The cameras are hardwired.
Then how do you run the cable? Then does it just go under Eve and all come into one area, or you
You roll
go
punch in and
all
put it in your attic.
through your attic, go up through the soffit then? And
Goes up through the socket, goes to the attic and back down again. We conceal the cables as much as physically possible. It's not only for security purposes, it's also for protection of the cable.
If somebody cuts the cable, it automatically sets off an alarm then, right?
They gotta move.
If you cut the cable to the camera, which the cable comes out of the building and routes through the actual mounting arm, which is the metal arm, and goes into the camera, so you won't ever see the cable.
Okay.
But if they get up there and rip that arm off the wall and cut the cable, you're gonna have a video loss that they can set up a video loss to send out of nowhere.
Okay.
Already motion alerts prior to.
Yeah, if you have that one set up for motion, you probably already know they're out there messing with it before they ever start. And they'll get a good image of the guy's face as he's up there looking at it and pulling it down off the thing. So, but anyway, there's a lot of things that can be done with it. This proposal was just trying to meet the budget that Steve told us we had. You don't have to do 8 cameras, you can start with 2, you can start with 1, whatever you want to do. The NVR, the recording unit, is a 16 channel that gives you plenty of room for expansion later if you ever decide you want to. Even though you have 8 cameras, we could put an 8-channel recorder in, but that's not how we do things. Because later on, if you want to put camera number 9, we don't want to tell you have to buy a brand new recording unit just to put one more camera in. We leave plenty of room for expansion. And the cost difference between an 8 and a 16 channel is negligible.
So you're recommending 2 4-terabyte hard drives
Mhm.
for a total of 8 terabytes.
To cover it,
And do you know what the recording length time is for?
that'd be about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That'd be about 2 weeks. Yeah. So if something happens, if you have an incident, you should know within the 2 weeks, you can go back and pull it up. One of the things about this is that any of these images, you go back on your search, you can put in specific time and date and tell it from this time and this date to this time and this date, and you can export that onto a thumb drive. When it exports it onto a thumb drive, it exports what it needs from the program to be able to plug into any laptop anywhere and run that image.
It just copies it though, right? It doesn't erase it?
No, it doesn't erase it. All the images on these NVRs are also legal admissible import. That's another thing about what we use for professional equipment, is we use equipment that is legally admissible. It has watermarks on it that says that it has not been tampered with. Your lower end units that you get online, stuff like that, they don't have that watermark. So a lot of people buy it, put it in their home, they get their neighbor ripping off the car and they go, here it is. And then I want to take it to court and show the judge, and then you go, nope, doesn't have a watermark, it's not admissible, it could have been tampered with. This NVR does not. No. These images are non-tamperable.
And
There's a word.
Okay, do either you or Steve know if by having a system like this installed might facilitate a reduction in our insurance cost?
Absolutely, contact your insurance company and ask them. In most cases, it does. But it depends on your insurance company, depends on what type of insurance you have as to whether they're willing to give you a reduction.
Okay.
For homeowners, I can say absolutely. So security systems, camera systems will get you a reduction in your homeowner insurance. You probably have professional liability insurance here, so therefore, and your insurance, is it coming private for this, or is it coming through the county?
Private.
Okay, so then contact your insurance carrier and ask them if they would give you a discount.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Any questions? Excellent. Appreciate you coming in.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Steve.
Okay, so how do we want to, you want me to just unplug this thing, Jerry?
Yeah, you would just unplug from VGA cable.
There you go.
This is already the longest meeting in 6 months.
I haven't even touched the meeting
I
yet.
talked a lot, sorry.
That's worth it.
It's all right, yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
No problem.
Technology.
We got the pledge done.
I was watching some videos from past some of the meetings, and oh my gosh.
Oh, you did?
2 hours of phone minutes, yeah. I just watched it all, which we have for meetings, and you're going, oh my god. Yeah.
Well, you must have a lot of time on your hands.
I get off at, oh, I fast forward, I don't want to. Yeah, but I get off at 3 because of my knee.
Oh, yeah.
All right, our next order of business is financial reports. I'll turn it over to Bill.
Okay, I deposited $899.37, it was a tax refund. I transferred another $9,000 into our checking, and we got $40 in donations, $3.67 in interest. The total deposit was, total deposit was $9,943.04. We wrote checks for $2,959.91. Our checking account balance right now is $13,424.68. We had interest of $24.52, and our money market balance is $184,392.25. I'd like to have a motion to pay the bills.
Is there any questions first?
Yes.
No, Jerry, I did not get the credit card thing printed. I got
Oh,
it
you
right there,
did
the
not?
thing, what you want to look at it. It's right on the counter up there.
Okay, I want to know regarding taxes received, is that back taxes?
Yeah, they're all last year's taxes.
Wow, nice.
So we're still getting, and historically, about every 2 months, we'll get like $400 during this part of the year. There's no real rhyme or reason on how we get it.
Thank you.
Did you want to talk about the other thing that happened last month, or is that separate?
Well, you can bring it up if you want to, or I'll bring it up.
Last month, in fact, you guys might want to maybe reapprove last month's, what happened last month, and Trista brought this up to me today, is there's a check in July for Tyree Oil, and she has all of our stuff on QuickBooks listed by vendor.
Thank you.
So when she went in and put the actual cost of the fuel, because we had gasoline and diesel, was $1,848.31. When she went in, when it was saved, it saved the previous order we had made from that same vendor, which was $808.10. So we actually have that. It's all straightened out now, and everything's good, and all of our balances are good and everything, but this part of last month's financial report was about $1,000 off.
So did we pay them the 800 and?
No, we paid them the $1,848.31.
Okay, so it's just a typo right there. Okay.
Are we going to be sent a corrected one?
It's in
Because
there.
this,
We do have
Yeah.
it. She said,
They sent it to us.
okay, because I need it to be able to post the
Right,
corrected
it's
one on
on
the
the internet.
website.
I'll give it to you. It's-
Oh, it was,
it's-
so that was one of the files that was
Yeah,
sent to
That was
us?
sent to us.
Okay, I was wondering, that was the July one, I was wondering why that was sent.
That was an updated one. So when I went down there to pick up the stuff the other day, she got it kicked out. So I went back and checked the receipts and stuff, and the totals were all right and everything. But that was actually our last diesel fuel purchase back 8 months ago or something. I don't know if I'm not good at that kind of administration, whether the board has, since you guys approved this last month, well, maybe when you do all the financial records, you just approve them, including that.
We could
update.
make a motion to approve.
Like that
Did you
show.
just make that motion just now?
I make a motion, yes, to approve the corrected July report.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Okay, thank
The
you.
question Alan asked was that did all of our records, QuickBooks, everything show the right thing? It was just this, when she went to print this out, it got it somehow, so.
Okay. Bill has one up there, Bill has a motion to pay the bills. Correct, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. All first it? All
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
I think that was complicated.
All right, Steve, you wanna bring up the $100 one?
I just have one additional check for $100 tonight for a hazardous materials response book and program for hazardous materials first responder. We have an opportunity to buy it. It's about $240 new, and we have someone that just purchased it because it's also a school textbook and program, and they're willing to resell it used for cheaper than what we can get it on Amazon or anywhere else for. So I have like a 1-day.
What is it called?
It's hazardous materials first responder.
Current?
It's a current manual, plus it has the DVD and all the data stuff for conducting the whole program. And it was just an opportunity that came up like in the last couple of days, so I said, well, I'll try to do that. It's
Make a
gonna save
motion.
us some money.
I make a motion to buy it.
Buy it for $100 for the hazardous first responder material.
First and second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, you got it, Steve.
So
Steve, would you do me one favor though?
Yeah.
In the checkbook, can you make sure you write the?
I will,
who the
not
check is?
exactly, if we're buying it through the school, if we're buying it from, I'll have to tell you exactly who the name is.
Anyway, I left it blank, but
Okay.
if you can make sure it goes in the checkbook so we can, Tristan doesn't jump on my tail.
I appreciate that.
Steve, did we get the money for these four?
Yeah, is there 4 blank checks in there for the PSST?
I don't know. 4 times 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, they're not awesome.
I think I saw that on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2778 through 2781.
4 of our people got certified in firefighter 2. We're trying to meet that certification for the DFPA contract and stuff. So we're all older firefighters around here that weren't included in the initial fingerprinting. So now whenever we get certified, they're kind of back catching everybody and making us all fingerprint. Very secure.
All right. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jerry for the communication report, please.
All right. Website updates, most approved documents, meeting videos, water calls, treasurer's reports, chief's reports, and fire danger alerts. Regarding fire danger alerts, as of midnight tonight, or a minute after midnight, the fire danger level is being reduced to moderate.
What does that mean?
You can operate till 1 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. There's still no burning, just mowing.
Yep, so I watched all that for an hour and.
Okay, I fixed the layout of slideshows on the volunteers page, post notice from DFPA regarding danger of drones flying near active fires, scanned the website including emails for viruses, and deleted any that were present. This time there were 16 emails from our various email accounts that possibly had viruses and none on the website. There were apparent phishing emails, they were cleaned or quarantined. And from the scan, it gives a code for the email, so I'm not able to identify the specific email, who it came from, what the content was, to know what they were. I'm going to try talking with DFPA and see if there is a way to be able to see exactly what it is. Proposed change, none at this time. Request for suggestions. I always welcome any suggestions. for improving the website. Communications with agencies, received texts of fire department 911 dispatches, received email newsletters from SDAO, received notices from DFPA. Communication with fire department, the list for July blotter calls and report had been received from the chief last month. Communications with community, posted public notice for the September board meeting on the website and at the fire station. Communications equipment, updated software on the district computer. And Steve, I need to talk to you about your access code for the computer, because I was trying to do a scan that bypasses the Windows operating system to make sure I'm really discovering everything, and I think you were still logged in, and that caused a problem for doing the scan.
All right. Sounds good.
Any questions about my report?
I played with the website, it's pretty cool.
The website?
Yeah, I got on it tonight, and I watched videos, and I read things, and there was something about it. Oh, I'll talk to you about it when we're done, it's a different matter. But yeah, it was, I liked it, I thought it was very easy to work through.
Go back to it. I did it earlier, a long time ago.
Yeah, I like it, it's very simple. It's good that you can see how many people view each recording and all that. I thought that was pretty neat.
Oh, you went to the YouTube
I did,
videos?
yeah, I did that's all around.
Oh, but you also saw the slideshows of photos, did you, on the volunteers page?
No, I'll go to that. I was
Oh,
looking at a whole bunch of other things. I looked at the map that it's one of the things on the map that I noticed is you can't see any of the streets. You can see Coos wagon, but you can't.
Did you try zooming in?
Well, I could probably try that. Because I was looking on it. I looked for a zoom key and I didn't see one. But I have a touch screen. But I don't ever touch it because I don't like fingers.
Well, you can do gestures, or you can do the keyboard Control Plus.
Okay, then I'll try that when I get home. Okay, thanks, Jerry. Public comments? Any comments?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll turn it over to Chief Rhodes.
You guys, I've been remiss, somebody met him the other night, this is Bob Scott, who's a retired division chief from Roseburg City, and he took over when Keith Williams moved on
Thank you.
so he's doing my training stuff, really invaluable and really good. We talked about this the other night, I'm a little loosey-goosey on my management style, and he's real tight, and that's how we get stuff done around here, is the two of us working together, so.
You just watching it work?
It goes both ways.
For the month, August 2018, we had 13 total calls, 5 medical, 2 structures, no motor vehicle accidents, which is pretty weird because we've been having 4 or 5 a month. 5 natural cover or smoke responses, and 1 public safety. Our firefighters, the 1 natural cover fire, which probably was the biggest one we had all summer, was not in St. Area, it was caused by a bird that got caught on the phases of the power there at the power station. And the firefighters and the DFPA, they did a good job. We had a big wind behind it, it went straight for the houses and the farms over there.
Seen that.
We got some videos online from Tammy Icola, lives up there on the hill above, and took videos and pictures of it was happening. Hopefully maybe that's the end of the year, we hope. I don't know. I hear there might be some more heat coming here later in the month, we'll see what happens on that. The training this month we did included hose testing, a lot of hose testing. We're done with our annual hose testing, which that's a major component of our ISO rating, by the way. We did some medical training with Lindsay on shock, some fire streams, and the 5th Thursday we took a barbecue this month. Some of you guys I know came and
I think we were all there.
we recognized Tom Johnson, so that was a nice night. And we do that, it depends on how many 5th Thursdays there are in a year, but I think the next one's planned for next week. Hey, maybe I saw in your calendar.
I have to look.
Yeah.
It's plugged in. There's one plugged in somewhere.
We're still, this week we'll be using the District 2 training facility. So tomorrow night, when you look over here, you may not see many units, and we're going to be over at the tower on Melrose.
That's what all that is tomorrow night's training.
Okay.
So that gave us some big ISO points. They have a drill tower over there we can use, and so we'll have it cruise around. We'll keep somebody manned here.
Is it okay if we go over, or if the board wants to come by?
Yeah, sure. It's at Melrose Station 3 out there on Melrose Road. continuing our online courses for the wildland. Firefighter 2, that's what those 4 checks are for, was fingerprints for the certification. We finished our annual host testing. The Explorers participated in all those tests and training also. For 1090 this month, we were continuing on stocking them for supplies, purchased a light bar for it and some minor maintenance on it. 1060, we, one of the major expenses this year was, or this month was tires. We blew a tire on the rear axle. I've been budgeting every year to replace an axle with the tires on that thing. We found out, we didn't know how old the tires were, and we found out they're from, one set was 1991, and there might be older ones than that one.
It blew apart.
Just a little bar sitting in the garage.
Sitting
So I put new fronts on it a few years back, because that's,
Was it a
I
cap?
don't want the fronts.
Was it a cap, was it?
Just the top, the whole top
It
came
was a
off.
recap.
We put new fronts on a few years ago because if we blow a front tire in a tender, it's nasty. So I replaced 2 tires on that axle, and we're going to continue doing that as time goes by. Let's see, we did the pump tests on 1031 and 1030, both of them. They both passed again. There was no issues down there, so we're good for another year. We're continuing to get the VFA stuff coming in. We purchased that camera, you guys, we paid for that last month. There's some PPE for wildland off that, some weather instruments and t-shirts. September 27th is the last training night of the month. The Darley representative is going to come here. Because of the price of what he's offering, we can get 4 pair of turnouts this year instead of 3 on the VFA grant. So he'll be down here that night, the drill night. And we also inventoried engine 1031 this month and updated it in the book in there. Facility, been continuing discussion on that. I've been getting all the emails you guys have. We mowed the yard as we went back to high fire danger, so we did it during time. I've been keeping kind of a mail thing in the file in there, which would be kind of stuff that would affect the board. So one of them was a contract for VFA. I told you guys last month that I had submitted that, and so we have a signed copy from the VFA back here. So that allows us to officially get money back when we're all done purchasing and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we can keep that in the monthly calendar or something. I have a VFA package, so now we have an entire package with a signed contract in there. So that happened. Haven't heard on the ISO review yet.
I did, I talked to him yesterday, should be 45 days.
45 days, okay. So that should be coming. I'm still working on we have a new incident reporting system and hazmat reporting system we're still messing with. I updated the credit card info with DFN and Douglas Electric because last month the bills didn't, we got bills, the expiration date. I got a new card. So I updated them with them, so now we're good. And there was nothing happening. The auto pays weren't happening. I registered for SDAO regional training on October 23rd. It's a risk management training. It's going to be at Cottage Grove again, like the one we went to last year. It's from 8:30 in the morning to noon. If anybody wants to go, the price was $50 for me, and one additional person can go for free if they have a scholarship for it. And you get a little box lunch. I know Jerry had that box lunch. He didn't care much for it.
Maybe Jerry wants it again.
But anyway, if you guys want to go up there, it's going to kind of be a review of their risk management and injury prevention program.
And you can take one more?
Yeah, if you want to register for that.
Jerry?
It's 8:30 on October 23rd.
That's a Tuesday.
That's the best practices eligible, but we don't have to have any more than one take it. But,
I'm not able to go.
okay. So I'm going to go anyway, so I just wanted to let you know. So
So do I, Don.
Okay.
Not Seth. Yeah, I gotta go down there.
if anybody wants to go, that's fine.
Okay, so just let Steve know if either of you wanna go, or Brenda's watching this if you wanna go.
I submitted information for the renewal for the accident health policy with SDIS, so that'll re-cert on January 1st, so they'll be sending us the bill and all that stuff probably next month or 2. FEMA grants, I've been discussing, I was approached by a guy named John Storm. He's assistant chief down in Phoenix, Arizona, and he approached us about writing our grants for us this year. And he has been a peer talked with him, in fact, I spoke with him for about 45 minutes today about our needs as far as a new engine and SCBA's. And he's working up an estimate on how much it would cost. It'd probably be about $825, I think, for him to write the grants for us. That cost, it rolls into the grants if you're awarded it. So I'm seriously thinking about that. He's gonna make up a contract and send it up to us. And maybe, so next month we'll be.
What is the time period for submitting the grant?
It's about, it should be November. We still have plenty of time to do it.
So it'd have to be covered by this year's budget.
Well, it is. I've already budgeted for the matching and stuff, so it would be incorporated in that total.
But that's only if we're awarded the grant.
That's
If we're
exactly
not,
so.
then we have to pay.
So we do have a matching, we have $15,000 budgeted for matching FEMA. If we don't get one of the grants, that $825 we would have to pay. I've been looking around at this, and most grant writers are charging between $500 and $1,000 for a grant. And he said he would do 2 of them for $825.
So
So
he'd be like,
we're not there yet.
so he'd be like a manager of a professional athlete.
Yeah.
He goes and he writes all that stuff up to you
Yeah.
to get you a better chance of getting it.
Right, so I talked to him today about, he writes the
Sounds like
narratives.
work.
So he writes the narrative, so he sits in the committees where they look at the narrative and they see what they want to see. So I'm still being responsible, and we talked about that today, what I would be responsible for, providing the information. They do a profile of the department. And we already have those done, and I'm gonna send him the ones I've done in the past. But he can take that information and put it in the order that they wanna see it. You know, they want all the information in the first 4 lines, because when they're looking at thousands of these things, they wanna know what's happening. in the first
They
inch.
want to read the first paragraph, not the last page.
Yeah, and they give these descriptions, like a profile of our department is 4,000 word maximum essay, basically, right? So, and there's 7 of those per application. Why you need the vehicle, the cost, benefit of having the vehicle, blah, blah, blah. So I'm seriously thinking about it. He's been real successful. I got a resume and all this stuff for him, and I've been talking with him, and I'll bring the contract. He's gonna write a contract up and send it up, and we're gonna continue talking about the stuff. I sent him copies of the information that I've submitted before and stuff to see, and he says that the SCBA thing should be a slam dunk if it's written up right, and that the vehicle should be, that's a high priority this year on their FEMA list. It should, that we would be a perfect fit for all that stuff, so.
Steve, so if you're going to present this for our review and possible approval at the October meeting, would that then give him enough time to submit it, to write it up and get it submitted by
I
November?
think it will. I think he's gonna go ahead and start doing it. It just, I'm sure he has templates and all that other kind of stuff. He fills in the information, and it's gonna be nothing. But he told me that he would have a contract in the next couple of days, so I could email it to you guys just to get I'm not looking for approval or anything, but just to get an idea of what we're talking about. And that's the whole thing. If we're not successful, we would owe the money for that contract.
We've already scheduled
I
one.
think we got a better chance, and man, if we can hit one of these things for a couple $100,000.
You said you already scheduled, figured in what, $15,000? Would that
We
be-
I do a 10% match, so the quote we got on the engine was $289,000, so we budgeted $28,900 to match. And then for the SCBA's, the quote we got was about $110,000, so we budgeted $11,000 to match that. However, it looks like, depending on our population and stuff, our match might range more like 3 to 5% when we're submitting. So we're actually have more budgeted than we need for the
So
match.
what I'm saying is we have, in our budget, we have enough if we have to come up with the $850, we're not cutting ourselves
Right,
short.
because it would be, you could take that out of the FEMA match. I mean, that's what the money is designated for, is the FEMA grants, yeah. It's in the equipment fund for that, but, anyway, I'm gonna bring you the contract, and as I get more stuff, and I'll bring his resume and everything, and he's been real successful in getting it. And having being an inside guy on the evaluation panels that help.
Definitely
He knows how to
help.
run
Yeah,
it.
definitely help.
We've had some pretty good conversations with it. He works for a real good. Anyway, well, hopefully that'll happen. I just wanted to talk to you about that. The budget documents that were required went to the county clerk, so we're finally done with the budget. And the in lieu of audit I'm working on right now, so that'll be done. That's to be submitted September 30th. So let's see. The miscellaneous are continuing with the Lookingglass gym project. Anybody that lives on Coos Bay Wagon knows on I think the 21st they're going to shut the water down to put the new hydrant in that day at the back of the school. Best practices, they still have those 2 videos online in case anybody wants to watch them. Facility emergency
Steve,
hours.
on those videos, I did watch them. Do all board members need to watch them?
No, we just have to prove that 1 or 2 have.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
That's what I was going to talk to you about tonight. When we're done. I tried doing that.
We talked about the SDAO grant. Something that didn't make my Chiefs minute was RFP, Rosewood Forest Products donated 2 medical packs to us, probably in the neighborhood of about $3,000 worth of resuscitators and all kinds of medical equipment. It was very timely because we have a medical bag that's kind of worn out. We were looking at buying some medical supplies, which we budget for every year. So what happened with them is they had these medical packs set all around their different facilities. They've gone to just one response vehicle with 1 medical pack, and they got somebody that's trained to just do medical stuff down at the plant now. So they called me one day out of the blue and said, "Hey, you guys want this medical equipment?" I go, "Yeah, bring it on up." So he brought it on up, and it's really good stuff. We have one of them sitting out there now, and we're going to use it as equipment on our brush truck out there. And so I wrote a thank you letter to him. I put a copy of that in this
Steve,
thing.
on donations, is that something the board needs to approve?
If you want to,
I'm
there's
not-
no cost to us, and
Okay.
I
I'm not
can
clear
place a
on the
value on it.
procedure on that.
I can find out.
yeah, I place a value on it, and I wrote him a thank you letter on department letter. I want you to know. So
And so it's in the inventory now?
it is not in the inventory yet. No, we're Lindsay just got done going through it last week, and we're making sure that everything's updated, put together in the right place and stuff. It's probably going to replace some worn out stuff, and we'll have an additional kit on one of the units also. A little bit, some more other stuff that's been going on is we re-registered for the National Fire Department Registry with FEMA. We have to do that every year, so I did that the other day. The FPA contract, I got the contract from the FPA. We were unable to meet it this year because we're just getting our people certified to the standards they want. So we can go on mutual aid. If anybody calls us and asks for a first, second, third alarm, we go. But if it's a organized task force or strike team, you have to be trained to these certifications.
Out of the
So-
county.
Out of county. Yeah, so this is the online training we're doing. Some of us have it already. We don't really have a fully staffed crew that can go. So I'm gonna work on this contract and shoot for next fire season. Plus, it's basically for when it's extreme and red flag danger. And I think hopefully we're getting out of that right now. We were in extreme for quite a while. But I just want you to know that that contract, I'm not presenting to you to sign. We have it, and we'll have to go over it when we do get to that point. There's a lot of legalese in it, and it's pretty much similar to the mutual aid contracts we signed in the past. This is the Rosewood Forest Products letter I wrote. Planning Department, we've been getting a lot of new construction. I did a couple road checks this week for new buildings, a new house at the end of Mulberry, way up the hill, about halfway up, almost the 4-mile valley. It's almost over the top of Bill Remetter's house is. And so there's a lot of that stuff going on also.
I got a question. I just saw your thing from the Rosewood Forest Products. One of them. More out there. I think we talked about it once before when there was a guy that fell off the hills.
Not having a key up there.
Yeah, do we ever get a key for that, or do
I
they?
did not have a key. I went to,
Just so you know, a few years back, guy was hiking the hills and he fell. We had no way to get in there.
We would have a way, we can put a lock on that chain.
There's no chain, it's,
There is no chain,
Locked
there's no
up.
other ones? Oh, great.
that's just my concern.
I'll have to talk to them about that then.
Yeah.
At the time I talked to them, they were reluctant to have us put any kind of locks on that kind of stuff.
What about a Knox box birthday?
We have to get them to do that, huh? I'm not sure if they're required by the county, but they might be able to.
What you need is somebody in the fire department that pays the $360 to get a key for that. That's what it is.
Yeah, those boxes.
Yeah, that's what it is a year to
Yeah.
go up Touchstone. $360 to go through that gate.
The reason I was, and I talked to Gary, the former chief, about it, because they do work for those guys, and they were unable to put a lock on that gate, because when they were doing work up there, they had to have somebody come and meet them.
Yeah, because the thing, okay, I was wondering about that, maybe I'll call him too.
Well, I think, I'm not gonna go on anymore about anything else.
Okay, thank you. Old business, one of the first things is the use of property liability release. And I did one version and someone emailed me and said, maybe we'll try the other one. So I went ahead and did it. Did everybody, did I email it to you? I believe I did.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, obviously I'm gonna entertain a motion to accept this if nobody has any questions. I did make numerous copies that we can put in the file here. So if everybody read it and you're okay with it, I will entertain a motion to accept the property facility use agreement when
Well,
somebody.
you're just the formatting of it
Well, I
might need
understand.
to be tweaked a little bit.
This one, the new one?
Yeah, just to make sure it fits all on one page, because I think.
It is all one
you-
page.
You have it all on one page?
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, it wasn't.
Well, I think it's
all on
you,
one
Jerry.
I don't have a copy
page.
of
It
it.
might just be me. Let me see how that looks compared.
I thought it looked pretty good. That, your lease agreement, or release
You
agreement.
got it.
This is the
Wow.
same. He didn't like that.
Yours came out in a smaller font
You
than
didn't like
mine.
that
Mine
one.
came out in a larger font, so it
Yeah.
was on more than one.
So are you okay with this one?
That's even smaller.
Is that too hard for you, or?
Yeah, that's too small.
Okay, well, I can go bigger. I can change them.
No, as long as
Copied
it's spitting out, okay, that's great.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to accept the property facility use agreement. And would you like me to make it bigger? Because I can go, when I go home, I can make it bigger. And at least we got it and it's done.
Okay, the size that Alan showed me looked pretty nice.
That's off my computer.
I don't know, and the one Alan has, he can print us out more. It seems like they're all different.
Yeah, I don't know why they're all
We
printing
can
out
copy it. We
differently.
can just copy
Let me
it.
see that.
We can just copy this. So I'm gonna entertain a motion to approve the property facility use agreement, the size of the font that Alan has. We will copy 10 of them and keep 10 of them on file. So I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for that, please.
Give me a copy to put in my book, will you?
Okay, I got it first. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now I just want to point out that this is just so we immediately have some kind of agreement for anybody who wants to use it. We still do not have a policy regarding facility use.
Okay.
We will need to develop a policy, and we can incorporate this agreement into the policy.
Okay.
And that goes on to the next policy. And the next one after that. We have the ability to send that up to Silva or one of those guys too and have them look at it and for SDAO to declare it legally blessed or something too, if you guys want to.
Do they have,
Are you
I
talking
think that-
about the agreement?
I think that,
they need to accept it?
well, no, but I think that actually came from them. in a
I think
way.
it did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, district policy preventive maintenance.
Okay, so we talked about that last month, and Jerry sent me we had some correspondence about that last month.
Oh, no.
So we, did you guys get that? Did you send that out, Jerry?
Yeah.
Preventive maintenance policy.
Right.
And the checklist, I think it's all good stuff. I like issue with it is, we'd have to change some wording if they can give it to me in a word or something. As far as daily inspections, there's not.
Well, it's for us to have a committee
Right.
to modify it,
Right.
and then we have to have 2 public hearings on it.
And that was another issue that I had. If we could do it as a standard operating procedure, like you guys direct me to do it in the fire department, we don't have to have all the policy meetings, unless you guys want to do the 2 public hearings and go through that process. But maybe,
Why don't we just tell you to do it and that's the way it is?
I mean, because standard
As an
operating procedures
operation.
are an annex to the
Operations
policy.
manual.
Yeah,
So, but we would still need to do a modification of the operations manual, which requires 2 public
Okay,
hearings.
so then
So
we'll
either
do it.
way,
So we'll do it as a policy then?
it might be a little easier
Okay.
rather than trying to revise the operations manual.
So do you want to, well, you tell me, you guys want to have a month then to edit it and come up, want to shoot some, or you already have?
Well, no, I'm just suggesting that we should have perhaps you
Come down and have
and
a
1 or
meeting or
2
something.
board members meet to review it and, you know, decide how it would best be revised.
Okay.
And then see if we have sufficient time to, let's see, for a public hearing, do we need to put it in the newspaper like 10 days ahead of time?
We have to just do that,
A public notice?
public notice for the 2 meetings that we talked, so it would just be normal.
We can do the 2 meetings in a single public
No,
notice?
no, we'd have to notice, we'd have to go to the newspaper twice in a row.
Twice, yeah. But it's,
So, and that's no big deal. We can do that.
right, so if
So
we
we're
can
looking,
chart
we're out
it-
to like January or March or February, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, we could start doing it right now. I mean, be prepared for this winter, if that's what which is what we do every year.
Following these
Well-
checklists.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm wondering is, would we be able to get the revision done in time to have the public hearing on it as part of our October meeting? Or do we want to perhaps wait for the November meeting?
Oh, so in other words, can we have a meeting here in the next few weeks and then get it done before?
Yeah, for you and 1 or 2 board
Oh, then
members
we'd
to
have
do
to
a
notice it.
revision on it in the next couple of weeks, so we have sufficient time to then go ahead and post a notice in the newspaper.
I'm good anytime after probably 4, and then I'm off on Friday and Saturdays. And then slow down.
So you're saying you'd like to be part of that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good at that too.
When do you wanna schedule a date? And do we have anybody else?
I'd be willing to participate with that.
Okay.
I got a real phone now. I got a camera.
Was it your birthday? Is it your birthday?
No.
You got
man,
upgraded?
I gotta tell you this story. What happened to me. My wife did it as a surprise and didn't tell me, so my phone was actually off and I'm having all these appointments and stuff. It was great.
Yeah, I get off at 3 o'clock, so I can be here by 3:30.
So,
Except-
just to facilitate things, if that can be determined after the meeting,
Okay.
and are we saying then we should plan on at the agenda for the next meeting,
Sure.
having a public hearing on this new policy? And so
that
we'll
will
need to
work.
get that into the newspaper.
Okay, when we do our normal notices.
Okay.
That sounds good. I'll play with that one. And it's got a pretty good list. Every year we do winterize, we've got some definite issues with that, especially the shed outside. We have some water pipe issues out there, so we winterize that. In fact, it stayed winterized all year this year, just we left it insulated, but there's a lot of issues on that.
Okay.
A second part of that was the safety committee, right?
Okay, another concern regarding doing the policy like this, SGAO, I believe, was recommending that any policy we develop should be reviewed by a lawyer. So we may want, after the first public hearing, you know, if there's any revisions, anybody in the public or the board is suggesting, and we're coming up revisions, that would probably be the time to have a lawyer review it before the second public hearing.
Okay, I get it.
And we have a certain amount of hours from them. We just went
From
through this with
SBAO?
we just went through this with the water board just a couple meetings ago, where you have access to lawyers up there, so.
I
we
thought
could
that's
probably-
just a pre-legal type of review they do.
Well, I don't know how much SDA will want us to, I mean, I would imagine if you did this and emailed it back up to Silva as the insurance adjuster, he'd take it and get it approved somewhere. I would guess, I don't know.
Well, that's something, we, during the process, maybe after the first public hearing, or
Yeah,
in the time after the review committee comes up with a draft to investigate it.
yeah, I'll ask him, I'll just ask him
Okay.
what we have to do. That'll be easy enough.
The next thing is I put down physicals and hepatitis B shots, and I think they pay for their own, your drivers, is that correct?
Yeah, we are right now.
Do you-
The thing is that we're required to provide hepatitis B shots if they want to. And we talked about this last month, as your wife went down there. And I was there too this month, and I didn't even ask because,
There's no real benefit that they're gonna give anybody. I asked
so how
them.
was what's the cost?
I don't remember, but my question is if they're doing it for the fire department, shouldn't we assist them? Is how I'm looking at it.
Well, what I was looking at is trying to find what they would charge for a cost.
Okay, I can find out before we go in that, because I just wanted to bring that up.
And also for driver physical, and then we have to budget for it in the future.
Okay,
What I have to do right now is I have to have them, I have a form that denies that they want hepatitis B vaccine.
Correct, correct.
So if they sign that, that takes care of the problem.
correct. But if they don't,
Right.
then it's gonna be expense to them, which if they're volunteering at the fire department, I can't see someone paying to volunteer.
Yeah, and I recommended after a bloodborne pathogen, if we go out on a call and get blood, vomit or something in our face or something, the recommended, one of the recommended protocols right now is you do an immediate hepatitis B series, because it does have some post-incident effects that will work, so. So that would end up, but that would end up being covered by workman's comp.
Workman's comp is what I
So
would
that's
think.
not a pre-existing thing, so.
But I'll ask my wife about physicals for drivers and Hep B shots.
If you
and
can
how much.
find out what the price is.
Okay.
We're gonna have-
Like a CDL physical?
Yeah, just a driver's physical. I just did it, they charged me $100 cash, I think.
Well, they
Did that
probably
every 2
pocket it
years.
if it's cash.
Yeah, you're right.
Asphalt repair, that was something that I think went away. We talked about it.
Yeah, we were just gonna redo the cracks.
Okay, is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah,
Okay,
and we budgeted this year for this stuff to do that.
okay. And
Who
then,
does that?
Well, we were gonna do it, burn it out and, I think we can burn it out, put sand and put that stuff on. as
mix
well
the
as
sand in the
concrete.
sealer
Right,
is what you do, and then mix it up to it's a thick slurry, and then use a metal trowel.
right.
Then you probably gotta do 2 coats,
Yeah,
cause it'll dry and shrink.
yeah.
It won't pour. If it pours, it's not thick enough.
I have to look at what I budgeted for that. We might have,
Square
we
feet
have,
in Palm
might have enough in
Springs
the budget to pay
Before they
somebody
came out with
next
those
year.
crack filling machines.
Our plan was to do it though.
Okay, okay. We can experiment. I got 5 gallons of sealer at home.
Does that have to be in
Good, bring it down
weather
and see like
applied?
credit.
No, it's not like a hot patch.
Just can't be rain. Just can't be rain.
So we need to get on that.
And then the corrected yearly calendar, Jerry?
Yeah, Steve, I'm sorry I got that to you late. There was an item on there, I wasn't sure how that should be stated, about the federal IRS due
Oh,
by
yeah, that was
February.
February,
So I wasn't sure what that is that's going to the IRS, who's responsible, and if there's any expense for that.
there's no expense for it. It's a 1096s if we take in any money, and we also have to list our, anybody that we pay money to over $900, which is Lindsay, our medical.
$900, not
Yeah.
$600?
It's 600 for the state, I believe, and 900 for the federal. I might be backwards.
No, it's 600 for the state, I know.
Yeah. And so the only one we're paying is, in fact, Wheeler doesn't even qualify. So the only one we're paying that I've been writing for is Lindsay. And then like last year when we got the money reimbursed from DFPA, I had to put in like 6 or 7 of them for the people that got money over $1,000 or $900. It is,
So
it's 900 federal.
those are Form 1096, but
The
it's
1099s and 1096.
1096.
And that's due by the end of February, it's February 28th, I believe, for us.
1099, and is there any kind of expense associated
No,
with filing those?
And the forms are free, and I just fill them out, so.
Okay, great. So I'll get it, so you can put it in your binders.
Thank you, Jerry.
Bob, this is just you didn't see it, but it's just kind of like monthly what the board and the chief and the treasurer stuff.
All
Not-
right, quarter junk.
Not, yeah, regular, not necessarily training stuff, but it's
Just
all
to
other
give
stuff.
us a reminder of the
Yeah.
things that need to be
In
done.
advance.
I get it.
All right. So do we have any new business?
I have one new business.
Yes.
And this, I'm remiss because I was supposed to do this last one. The guy next door to me, Michael Bennett, 8382 Lookingglass, wishes to come into our district and pay us taxes.
Oh.
So all the chairman and the secretary, first of all, the board has to vote yes. And then the chairman and the secretary have to sign this form, and then he takes it back and he's done, because he's been doing this for months. And what happened with this is, originally the old house was down by those big metal barns. This is a Lookingglass, where Lookingglass Angus was. They had those big cattle facilities on there. The old house used to be there, and it was inside our district. The district line is between there and where the new house is built. So this is the highest appraised house in our district, by the way, and he hasn't been paying, the previous owner wasn't paying taxes, and the assessor now has this guy named Caleb. I don't know what his last name is, but he's been asking people, this kind of has to do with this District 2 thing going on too. He's sending notices to everybody saying, you're not in your local fire district, we recommend you join. Talk to your local fire chief about the benefits versus the negatives.
I don't see any negative to it.
The positive is that house is assessed at a high rate, and that's probably gonna be the biggest tax bill we get. I'm gonna guess around $1,200 to $1,400 by itself.
Okay.
But,
Any negative that you see?
no, because we were gonna provide service to them anyway, we just haven't billed them now, right now, so.
Okay.
um,
Is there any property there that's at high risk of fire?
No, it's just, it's a large house, it's over 8,000 square feet.
Is this something you see that's back on the hill?
Yeah, it's way up there.
Yeah.
Is it a newer house or?
No, it's about 5 years old, 6 years old.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
It sold originally,
Well,
was on the
no,
market
is
for
it-
a little over 5
He was-
million.
You've probably seen it a million times, it sits up on the hill.
Anyway, we do have houses, you can see on our map up there, we have houses within the general outline of our district that are not in the district, and there's no requirement to. However, the new assessor and this young man Caleb have been automatically, when houses are being built out here, they're putting them in our district, so the person actually has to physically opt out, and normally they don't even know they have the opportunity to. And we don't have any ability to force somebody to be in our district, but
But they get billed if you get.
they get billed if they're not in our district. And so the default right now is the assessor, when it gets to the assessor's office and they're ready to impose taxes, they send them a letter saying you're gonna be in the district. And those people, I guess people should know that they can't be forced to, but, you know, if they wanna talk to me about the benefits of it, I'd be glad to tell them how much it costs an hour if you're not in the district.
Plus fire insurance premiums.
Yeah, no fire insurance. Now, that's interesting, a lot of these people are getting benefits of our fire insurance premiums without paying this, because the insurance company is giving them insurance rates based on our district's rate.
Coverage, yeah.
And there's some districts around here that have, went after people and went to the insurance companies and reported individual addresses. I'm not really to that point, but, I mean, that's, you could do that if you wanted to. I don't really want to do that.
All right, well, I'm gonna entertain a motion to incorporate the residents at 8382 Lookingglass Road, Roseburg, Oregon 97471 into the Lookingglass Rural Fire Department District.
I so moved.
I second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna sign this, or you're gonna talk to Brenda?
Yeah, I'll take it to Brenda also. they give them an opportunity when this happens, if they do it in a certain time period, they waive all fees also, so that's nice of the county tax.
So is this likely to be on the November,
As it gets in, it should be, yeah.
Perfect.
It's all, everything's been done down there, this is the last step of it, just to have it.
All right, so, President's report, the only thing I want to say is, I think that barbecue was phenomenal. I think it was, it brings everybody together as one, whether it's the fire department or the board, because obviously, a lot of firemen don't show up, and we don't show up at a lot of the meetings. So it's just a good way to intermingle and, tell them thank you, and see if there's anything they need from us, but I just wanted to thank you for inviting us to it.
Yeah, I appreciate Costco being here, because that was good ice cream.
It was.
Bill threw everything else away and went for the ice cream.
Yeah.
And Bob's been scheduled that up for us, so that was good.
That was phenomenal, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything from the board? No board member comments? Anything from the audience? You got 2 minutes and we're on the agenda.
Time's up.
You good? All right, so our next meeting is 10/10/2018. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I make a motion.
All in favor? Oh, second. All in favor?